really excited to go over the in-studio sales process. This is something that I had a great time being able to really lead when I was working with Exponential Fitness back starting around 2016, 2017. I was tasked with flying around the country, going to studios, teaching front of the house, instructors, owners, all about the in-studio sales process, starting from when a prospect walks in to the facility to price presenting, closing, and hopefully making that person a member. And the one thing that I found in all of those travels was that nobody really wanted to do all of the tedious stuff when it comes to follow up and continuing to reach out to miss sales and things of that nature. And that's what sparked me to start the sales arms. So I'm the CEO and the founder of the sales arms. And what we do, put simply, is we help business owners grow their revenue, minimize their member attrition, and maximize their marketing dollars through high-level sales processes, lead management, and follow-up for their facility. My goal is to be a level of consistency in an area in the business that we all know has very high turnover. And what we're seeing, a lot more these days is just it being very, very hard to find the talent to work in that front of house area of the business and really deliver every single day. Because at the end of the day, the sales process is very tedious, right? But I love it because it is driven through effort, right? Anybody can learn, these tactics and the things that we're going to talk about today, but it's the effort that you put in on a day-to-day basis that makes the difference for the business, but not only for the business, for the prospects and your clients that are coming in, right? It's really important nowadays with the vast variety of boutique studios, big box gyms, all of the different types of fitness, connected fitness, with things like Mirror and Peloton. There's just so many ways to take care of yourself today. There's so many ways to do fitness that it's really important that you're setting yourself apart through the experience that you're delivering on a day-to-day basis. So I like to break it into zones, right? Zone 1, the entrance, when somebody first walks into your facility. Zone 2 being that point where they're now going to be connecting with a team member. Often that is at that check-in. Maybe you have a check-in kiosk or you have a front desk. Zone 3 is what I most like to look at as the studio in class, that true experience that a client is going to feel. And then we're going to bring that all the way back to the front desk and the front of house to close that sale finally and turn that person into a member. So I always think it's best and easiest for all the teams to understand their roles and what they need to do when you do break it into that zone. So zone 1, really, really a big one for me. I think is really kind of falls by the wayside, right? But people got to remember when somebody's walking through that door, you got to greet them with huge energy, smiles, just make them feel comfortable about coming into your studio. We all know from our own personal fitness journeys how difficult it can be sometimes to start a new routine, to enter a new community with people you don't know. Maybe you're doing a modality that you've never done, right? So greeting somebody is so important, right? And that comes with the tonality and how you deliver your message. Like you see right here, right? You see hi 3 different ways. You could say something so many different ways with the tone of your voice and make it feel different for the person that's receiving it, right? So one of the things that we always laugh about is, how do you say hi, right? Are you hi, really upset, or hi, like really excited, right? To see somebody come into your door. And it really does make a difference, because when people feel that energy from you, they're going to give that back. So if you're saying hi with huge smile, energy, and just life, you're in most cases going to get that back from the person that's in front of you. So zone one, in that entrance, make sure you are, if you can, open the door for the client as you see them coming in, right? Greet them with the big hello. How are you? How is your day going? Just start the conversation of getting to know who that person is right there, right? And then we get to zone two, and this is where the rapport is really built in studio. And one of the areas that I often see our front of the house tend to slip up a little bit, right? So now you have your client, they're in front of you, you've asked them how their day is going, you've welcomed them into the facility. Now it's time to understand what really drove them to create an account, to come through those doors today, right? And you're going to do that through asking questions that are going to help you understand exactly who you're dealing with and how to cater what you have in your facility to them, right? So how often do you like to exercise, right? That's one I love to ask people, to get an idea of, what their exercise frequency is. Is this going to be something new for you? Is this like a jump start, or are you just trying to mix it up a little bit? Try to understand exactly where somebody is in their fitness journey, right? Because you're not going to speak to somebody who is an avid, exerciser, can work out anywhere, any time of the week, and they're just trying to, mix up something new with somebody who hasn't exercised in 3 or 4 months. They tend to, have success for a month or two and then they fall off, right? You're going to treat them differently. One of the big things you want to avoid here, and this is something that we see very often with our front of the house, and again, it's nobody's fault, right? You want to let people know what you have, but you don't want to list everything that you guys offer in your facility at this point. People are going online before they ever set foot into your facility. They're seeing everything that you have to offer, seeing class times, reading bios about instructors, and from there, they're entering their information in most cases to get a call from somebody at your facility to learn more about the facility. So if they entered your store, they know what you offer. And in most cases in boutique, you're offering 1 to maybe 3 or 4 modalities. It's not the time to go over everything you guys offer, but allow them to speak to you and let you know what they're looking for. In zone 2, it's all about those questions. You can never have, too many questions to help bring out the true needs and wants of the client that's in front of you, right? So make sure in zone 2, you're doing everything that you can to build rapport and relate your facility to the things that they're talking about that they need and that they're trying to achieve, right? If you understand what you offer, to prescribe what's best for that person in front of you. And while, people tend to give sales, sales gets a very bad rap, and people say, I don't want to be pushy, I don't want to be salesy. At the end of the day, most people that are in these facilities, most of the people I've met in the front of the house, we're not salespeople, right? We're fitness professionals who know what's best for you to reach a certain goal, right? I kind of look at it as a doctor's office, right? When you go to the doctor, you're letting them know everything that is wrong with you so that they can use their knowledge and their expertise to let you know what you have to do to fix whatever your ailments are, right? In this case, to reach the goals that you have for yourself, right? It takes that listening and that understanding of exactly what that client that wants. And now you as the professional, whether it be in front of the house or your instructor, in this case in zone 3, it's you as an instructor, you're the doctor, you're the prescriber, you're going to be guiding this person through a workout. And then at the end of it, you're going to let them know what's going to be best for them in regards to what their goals are. From there, you can then deliver that information to the front desk. I call it the transfer of trust, right? Again, most people don't want to hear from us front of house people. They don't necessarily care what we have to say, right? We're the front desk that's just helping them through things. But when their instructor says the same exact thing that we say to them, they really take it to heart and they actually listen to them because that's their doctor in this situation, right? But you don't want to be overly salesy as an instructor. So like I said, you ask those questions and then you transfer that person back to zone 2, the front desk, and let them know, hey, I just spoke with Alex. It's her first time here. She has a wedding coming up in a few weeks, wants to lose a little bit of extra weight, but also just wants to find a community. I told her, ride with me 3 times a week and, we will get you there. Steph, can you set her up with something for 3 times a week? Thank you, right? So you're reiterating everything you learned about them. This is important because if the front desk didn't do their job initially, right, as a safety net, you would hope that your instructor did theirs and was able to build rapport and find out more about this client. Now you know exactly what they're looking for, which allows you to truly price present in a manner that is directed specifically for them. When it comes to price presentation, one thing I hope everybody has something that they could use as a visual while they're explaining how their memberships work or their packages work. Try to practice with your team on a regular basis what your offers are so that it's second nature to them when they are speaking with somebody, because when it is second nature, the confidence and the delivery that comes with that price presentation is way better than when you have to flip through, look, question, and ask, what those prices are. Add to that, you don't want to try to, again, like I said in the beginning, just list everything off. From what you were told and what you learned about that person initially in zone 2, coupled with what your instructor has shared with you about what they learned about them in class, you should know from there 2 offers that will fit that person perfectly for what they're looking to get out of your facility, right? In a lot of studios, we have a 4-class monthly, we have an 8-class monthly, 12 class in some places, and then unlimited. Some places don't have the 12, they just go unlimited from there. Membership allows you to build a predictable business. Is everybody going to go for membership? No, but that should always be the first place that you go in terms of your price presentation for your facility, so you can try to secure recurring revenue. And again, like I said, build a predictable business. So we're at the alternate choice right now. We'll use Alex as the example, getting married in a few weeks, wants to try to come 3 times a week. I always try to qualify the client in front of me, re-qualify them again. And when I say that, I mean asking questions again so that they can hear themselves say yes, right? If you can get somebody prior to delivering the price to say yes 2 to 3 times, in most cases, once you get to that price on that fourth ask, it's going to be a yes as well. So, Alex, you, just to be clear, you said your wedding is in a month or two, right? Is that correct? Yes. Okay, awesome. And you said that you wanted to lose some weight. Do you have a number that you're looking, to hit? Okay, yes. Okay, awesome. Great, great. And Seth said that you are going to try to ride about 3 times a week with us. Is that correct? Okay, awesome. So I think the best thing for you is going to be either our 8 class monthly or our 12 class monthly. All of our members that are currently on our 8, they come about 2 times a week. Some of them will get an extra class in the week. Everybody on 12 is coming almost regularly 3 times a week, 2 during the weekdays, 1 on the weekend. I think one of those would be best for you. Which works best for you, Alex? Right? So painting the picture of what the community does when they choose those packages, going over all of the things that they said to you as well through this whole process so that 1, they feel heard, 2, they understand how the community kind of does it so that they can kind of fall into that as well. And then finally, you're just leaving them with the choice of which one makes more sense from what you said to me, right? So if you're doing this, in most cases, you've pulled out all the objections that you're going to hear outside of price at this point, right? So you're now asking which one's going to work better for you, the 8 or the 12. And you would hope, right? We all hope at this point that Alex is like, the 12 is it. Let's go. Sign me up. I'm ready to go. You always want to ask for that sale and just be quiet. When somebody's saying I have to think about it, it could be a number of different things. In most cases, we can almost guarantee it's most likely the price, right? So you're going to get these objections. The question is, how are you going to handle it, right? You want to make sure, regardless of what somebody says, that you're going to empathize with them. You're going to understand where they're coming from. If you can relate it to something that you've experienced before or another client has experienced before, so that they know they're not alone in that. For that matter, if you have to think about it, it's got to be something of importance to you, right? So let's break it down from there. I have to think about it. Every time somebody says that to me, I said, that's amazing. That means it's important to you. Most of the time, if you're going to take something seriously, you got to take a second to think about it. You don't want to just impulsively jump and buy something. But since we're here, right, and you have to think about it, what is it exactly that you have to think about, right? Try to figure out what it is what is the real objection here? What do you have to think about? Is it a class time thing? Maybe you can give them some suggestions. Is it class time? Is it the distance from the facility? Is it the price, right? Give them options to see if you can guide them down a road that you'll be strong with when it comes to overcoming objections, right? So for me, when it comes to overcoming objections, especially in this day and age, it is a little bit of a fine line, a little dance that you have to do with your client, because like I said, everybody is very much informed about the offerings that are there, but there's a lot of competition around you as well in terms of other modalities and things that may right be next door to you in your shopping complex or around the block in your city, right? You want to make sure you narrow down exactly what that person has to think about, and again, relate to them and try to overcome that, right? If it's a money thing, right? I always say this. Let me just clear it up with you. If this was free, would you do this today? Okay, so this is definitely something that you want to do. It's not, it's just we have to figure out what makes most sense for you price wise. So this is when I like to go into price per class, because in most cases, people are more comfortable talking about smaller numbers, 10, 15, $20 per class, as opposed to $179 membership, right? So I like to break it down into a per class basis. So what works best for you per class, right? Get that number and figure out exactly what will work for them in an overall, right? And maybe it's okay. Well, I know you wanted to come, 4 times a week and do that 12 class, Alex. But if finances are tight right now, that doesn't mean you kick your fitness and your well-being to the side. We just got to figure out something that's going to fit you well at this time, right? So let's start smaller. Let's start with our 4 class monthly. Come once or twice a week. We'll figure out your budgets, over the course of these next classes, and maybe find something that'll fit you perfectly, once you've really enveloped yourself in the community and you've moved some things around to make this a priority, right? Because right now you're making your fitness a priority. You didn't know you were going to sign up today, but you fell in love with this. It's something that you want to do. Stay with that. Start small, and we'll work everything out over the next few weeks to get you to that 12 class or that unlimited level that you really want to shoot for. So can we get you started with the 4 class monthly, Alex? Right? Again, you want to go back and ask for the sale. You always want to ask for the sale so that there is no limbo, so that they have to give you a specific answer. Not everybody is going to just say, yeah, okay, let's do that, right? We all know it. We've all tried to overcome an objection. They just keep saying the same thing. This is where I say, really be conscious of who you're speaking with, right? And know that we don't really know what's going on with them in their life. We don't know who is supporting them or not supporting them in spending money on fitness. We don't know how anxious they really are about maybe failing again because it didn't work for them last time and they wasted their money doing it, right? Fitness is an emotional buy, and while we are continuing to use automations and different platforms to make the workflow efficient, nothing is going to replace the human connection and the emotional connection that happens when purchasing fitness, right? When deciding where you want to work out and what community you want to join. So it is very, very important to walk that fine line when it comes to overcoming objections and be willing, especially if you have the process in place, to fall back on the quality of your follow-up. When it comes to overcoming objections, just remember this: you're always one step away from being too pushy of a salesperson. And at the end of the day, our goal is to change lives. Just to go over everything, right? Zone 1 is that entrance. Make sure you're delivering amazing feeling in zone 1, right? Zone 2, on that front desk, build rapport, ask questions. If you find yourself doing all of the talking at the front desk, you're not doing it right, right? Take a step back, stop, think of a good question to ask, right? Now, zone 3 in the studio, this goes back to the instructor being the doctor, prescribing what's going to be best for their patient, aka the prospect, that client that's in your class that has goals that they want to achieve, right? You want to connect with them. You want to let them know that if they come and see you at the very least 3-4 times a week, they have a high chance of reaching their goal as long as they're consistent, and then transfer that trust back to the front desk so that they can price present, so that they can requalify, price present, and then ask for the sale. Hopefully that person was so blown away that they sign up right then and there. But if not, and you have to overcome objections, empathize with what that person has said to you. Make sure you reiterate what they said and you get an understanding of what the real reason is. Present another offer that makes sense from the objection that they gave. Be silent. Wait for them to give you their final answer, and then move from there. Remember, if you don't close them at that point, you rely on your follow-up, your lead management. And if you did close them at that point, you now have to rely on your member management.